Guys, let's talk about what's really going on with P Diddy. Okay, so a lot of y'all know about the sex trafficking crimes and the kidnapping and the drugs, but you don't know what actually led to this. Now, we've been seeing a lot of CEOs stepping down. Nike CEO stepped down. 300 Entertainment CEO stepped down. A couple of other CEOs stepped down. I want to say Warner Brothers Japan's music CEO stepped down. A whole bunch of CEOs have been stepping down. Well, let me tell you what led to this. Now, we all know Diddy was a very powerful person. Very powerful. And he basically, so when he signed with Ciroc, he never owned Ciroc. He was just a person within the company, like a big time sponsor. Most people thought he owned it because his name Diddy being on it as like looking like an owner, more people would buy it because of who he was. But he wasn't really an owner, but he was making a shit ton of money. Now, when he decided to leave and partner off with these other brands and actually become an owner, that is where the issue came in at. You guys got to think, those executives don't care when they're making money off you, but when you're going against them, that's where the problem comes. So you got to think, you got all these big name executives in the liquor industry, a lot of industries that are disappointed that now they have to go against P Diddy. They don't like, once you start affecting them, they don't like it. And the reason we're seeing a lot of these CEOs step down is because when this situation happened, certain people had to pick a side. Some people just weren't in positions of power yet. Some people were in positions of power and they sided with Diddy. These executives of these companies, guys, these executives are very powerful people. Like, don't get me wrong, these are very powerful people. So to even think that you can go up against them just because you're a celebrity, sometimes they have friends in higher places than you do. You gotta think, a lot of these executives are friends with politicians. Who do you think's donating these politicians their money? The legal system is pretty much under their control. They're paying for everybody in the legal system. So what happened is, Diddy basically went up against these executives, doing his own thing. He was warned, what would happen. A lot of these executives knew about him, knew what he was doing. But they didn't care when they were making money off of him. But once it went the opposite direction, they started revealing everything. And some of the CEOs that sided with Diddy sided because he had dirt on them. He had video footage of them and going to these freak-offs and things like that. But those that didn't have that, wasn't controlled by Diddy, and that didn't side with Diddy, those were the ones that went up against him, and they challenged them for basically civil laws. I mean, civil court turns into criminal court. So once they get you to a certain point, they start pressing them to the feds to take you. They don't want you around because you're affecting their money. And pretty much that's what happened. Diddy started affecting their money. They went after Diddy. Diddy knew what was going on, but he didn't know to what extent. They knew everything about him. They had insiders on Diddy. Somebody within Diddy's circle was already feeding them information. People will do anything for money. So if you have somebody in your circle and they're offered enough money, they will tell. That's why we see a lot of corrupt politicians and treason. Other governments offer them money to get inside on the country they're from. That's why politicians end up so corrupt, because if you have a lot of information, especially on a country or a high-ranking person, people will pay to know that stuff. And that's what's going on with Diddy. He's losing a battle. CEOs are stepping down that decide to side with Diddy over the people that are going going against him. So what we're seeing right now is the fall of P Diddy, because he decided to go up against some real juggernauts, and he's not winning. But guys, I'll talk to you more about this, and I'll explain it to more in depth. But this is the fall of P Diddy.